Hey everyone, it's Melody with Design by Melody here. I am here with another layout in my Traveler's Notebook. I have been working in this Traveler's Notebook for about a month or so now, maybe a little bit more. And this is one that I have titled All Around Town. And this is actually the first Traveler's Notebook that I've shared with you guys here on YouTube. I've kind of dabbled in this project a little bit over the last year or so, but it's not really been something that I have shared just because I wasn't really sure about I guess my ability in it, but I'm really happy with how this one's turning out. I have found, and I don't know if you guys are the same way, you'll have to tell me, but I have found that I do so much better with a Traveler's Notebook that has patterned paper in it versus just a plain white background. I don't know what it is about the white paper in the Traveler's Notebook, but I struggle with it. It's not that I don't like it, it's just I feel like a whole notebook of white paper is just, it just screams to be decorated, but I get so stuck because it's so white and stark. So I do so much better in this Traveler's Notebook, and this is one that I created myself. I do have a couple in my Etsy shop if anybody's interested. They're actually super easy to make yourself, but if you are interested in just purchasing one instead of trying to make one yourself, please feel free to go over there and check it out if that's something you're looking for. I just took a whole bunch of different pattern papers from my stash, and especially ones that were already cut into, because this does not take a full 12 by 12 of each sheet of paper. And I took some single-sided papers as well as some double-sided papers so that I could have a few white pages thrown in there here and there, but most of them are patterned. And then for this particular one, these photos are from a day Kaylin and I went out to the park. And we have just, we've always really been into going to different parks around Raleigh. Raleigh has a lot of different things that it offers here in town. They're really big on the green spaces. There's tons and tons of walking paths, paved and not paved, depending on if you want a harder trail or if you want an easier kind of trail. I'm actually going to do another Traveler's Notebook layout for you guys probably in another week or two, and it is, and I kind of chuckle because we went to a walking path thinking it was an easier walking path, and it ended up being a dirt trail around a farm, a historic farm in the area, which is not at all what we had expected. Funny enough. So it pays to do a little bit of research before you go, which I don't always do, but I always have fun regardless. We always enjoy ourselves. So I'm just using some of the orange alpha stickers to put parks and rec for Parks and Recreation. And then I'm using this Studio 29 design stamp set in my paper tray ink in Smoky Shadow to stamp out Raleigh, and then the ampersand for and. And that's kind of my title for this layout. I'm using a few of these Reset Girl stickers just scattered about the page. They're really kind of bright and colorful, and they really fit with the colors that are on the pattern papers in the background. Now this pink polka dot is very bright and bold, but I am using this very large journaling spot to kind of tone that down just a little bit. And I was going to do a yellow sticker, but I don't have any yellow on the left side, so I ended up switching that out for a little bit of a pale lime green color. And that just brings in a little bit of the color from the left side of the layout. Now, I am not totally opposed to using a little bit of dimension on these pages. I probably should be a little bit more aware of how much dimension I add, but it's not too terribly thick yet. I may have to be a little bit more aware of that when I get to the last couple layouts in this Traveler's Notebook. But so far, I've added a few a few wood veneer here and there, and it's worked out just fine so far. I am very aware that my Traveler's Notebook will not be flat when I'm done with it. It's not flat already, and that's just by the nature of adding a few layers of paper on just about every single page that I have done. I'm using a word sticker here, just trimming it down a little bit. It's going to be at the top of this journaling block. Now, if you noticed, I trimmed it off, but I ended up flipping this journaling card over because I wanted the pattern part to be down at the bottom, and it was this floral pattern paper, and I ended up switching that out for this teal and white polka dot paper, and I just covered up that floral paper with it. I just didn't like the way that the floral paper looked, but I really kind of liked the design of the card itself. So I just switched that out for a different color that kind of coordinated with the other side of the pattern paper of the Traveler's Notebook spread, and then I'm just working on top with that color scheme. I am going to add another word sticker here under the word capture, and then I'm going to do my journaling. I'm not going to make you watch that journaling because it takes me a little bit of time to figure out exactly what I want to say, but I'm really just saying exactly what I told you. We like to go explore the parks and play on the playgrounds and just enjoy what this city has to offer us. The city puts a lot of money into working on their outdoor spaces, and they're really, really nice. A lot of the playgrounds have these giant structures that you can climb on and play on, and they're meant for adults to also be able to get up there with their children. So they're very sturdy and very durable. So it's really nice. They also have a lot of splash parks here, a lot of creeks that you can explore in and things like that. And it's just been really nice. That's one of the things that I look for whenever we go travel, is to find the things that are available in the town or city that you're traveling in for entertainment. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. I mean, we're just talking about parks and playgrounds here. But I look for those types of things whenever I am going to travel with my family, because those types of things are what's important to us. So like, for instance, when we went camping in Florida, last year and the year before, we found a playground that had like a zip line at it and a climbing wall thing and like this treehouse kind of sort of thing, which was really nice because we don't necessarily have a climbing, like a treehouse type of thing here. We have zip lines and climbing walls and things like that. But the fact that they had this little treehouse thing, that was really cool. That was different than what we have. But I look for all kinds of things like that whenever we go travel. That's what I'm used to from the city that we live in. And so I look for those things out and about. And another thing I absolutely love to do, which was going to be another traveler's notebook coming up here soon, is museums. I am such a fan of museums. I absolutely love them. Love them. We are lucky that the ones in our city, there are some that you have to pay for admission and then some that are free. And we totally take advantage of the free ones all the time. And they're actually really good. It's not like they're free and like little. No, they're really nice. They're extremely nice with lots of activities, lots of interactive displays, and lots of things that you can just go explore. So that's going to be another traveler's notebook spread for you. I actually did it on the same day that I did this one, right after this one. So I'll probably have that one posted for you next here in the next couple days or so. I'm just using a little bit of this strip of paper. This was just a scrap that I have, and this is another reason why I like to keep my scraps, to see if I can utilize them. I needed just a little something to have these photos kind of grounded on, because they look like they were floating a bit, especially because they're on top of a scallop. This is supposed to be a banner, but I accidentally did it upside down in the notebook, so I just kind of worked with it. But this page is this page is upside down. If you didn't notice that already, it bugs me every time I see it because I notice it. But this page is upside down, but it's got a lot of color and a lot of movement to it. So I'm just kind of going with it. I'm not worrying so much the fact that the page is actually upside down. I'm just kind of covering up a good bit of it as well, so you don't even necessarily realize it unless you're looking for it. Going through the scraps, I had some die cuts here off to the left that I had laid out that was in the Gossamer blue kit that I have been working with here recently, as well as just some scrap pieces. So I'm going through the scrap pieces and seeing what I can utilize. I'm cutting a few of these little bits out. There's going to be a circle with an arrow on it that I'm going to cut out, and then also a circle with a heart on it as well that I'm going to cut out. Those were actually pieces, the arrow was just a strip of paper, and then the heart is actually a piece of washi tape that I had put on a piece of white cardstock to back it with, and then only used a little bit of it because I cut off the colors that I didn't want for the spread that I used that on originally. And so I kept it in my little scrap bin to use whenever, and this seemed to be the perfect layout to use one of those colors. Now, I always have lots of little bits laying around either on my desk or in the little bins beside my desk or in my stash kit that I'm working with at the time. So I always try to utilize those whenever possible. I end up using a lot of little bits on my pages. I don't technically use a lot of large embellishments. I end up using a ton of small embellishments, especially with Project Life. It's harder to use bigger elements, but even in my 12 by 12 pages, I don't really use huge pieces. Every once in a while, I'll use a really large floral and make that a focal point, but a lot of the times I use very small pieces. Usually the largest thing that's on my layout is the title and obviously the photo. Sometimes the journaling takes a big piece of the space as well, but usually the embellishments are fairly small. Now they make they might make a large cluster together, but each individual element is usually generally pretty small. Using a few of these little dots from the Reset Girl sticker sheet that I still have here, and just kind of looking at the page to see if there's any other elements that I need to add to complete this page. It's pretty much together, just kind of looking around, seeing if I want anything else. I have lots of supplies laid out, as I mentioned, and I'm just kind of looking at everything to see if there's anything else that could actually work on this particular layout. I'm going to take a moment to clean up as I look around. Sometimes that's the best way to kind of see what you have, is to clean it up and kind of put it back where it goes. And then as you're doing that, looking to see if there's anything else that needs to be added. I've got these word stickers here. I've got the alphas. I've got a few scrap pieces of paper. I also have some enamel dots that I considered adding, and then the other little labels and things. So I'm going to add this one last word strip here at the bottom, and then that's actually going to complete this layout. Check out the photos at the end if you'd like to see each thing a little bit more in depth, and let me know if you have any questions whatsoever. All right, guys, I'll see you next time. Bye.